Lakers trade talks continue to escalate as a brand new report has dropped linking Lonzo Ball to the Lakers. We're going to break down that report and discuss what it can mean going forward, as well as discuss some other updates surrounding the Lakers and trade targets. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're a part of the 83% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. So if you're enjoying, make sure to hit that button as we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. But there's a lot to go over today. The Lakers are in a ton of trade talks, trade rumors, especially after Dennis Schroeder got traded to the Golden State Warriors. Things have really started to pick up regarding trade targets, regarding reports and rumors, and a new report is dropped linking Lonzo Ball to the Los Angeles Lakers, and we're going to dive into it. There's a bunch of different things to go over here, but of course, former number 2 overall pick Lonzo Ball, the Lakers are the favorites to land him in a potential trade per Bovada official, and they're at plus 550, and then some of the other teams involved are the Magic, the Suns, the Nets, the Heat, the Hornets, and the Hawks, but Los Angeles Lakers are betting favorites to land Lonzo Ball, and this is actually a pretty big deal for a couple of reasons. For one, we know the Lakers are attempting to, they're looking in the trade market for a bunch of different players, and I'll bring up and kind of discuss JJ Redick's quote from yesterday because Lonzo Ball fits that narrative pretty well. But also, reports have dropped that it's not like the Bulls aren't looking to trade Lonzo. It's actually the polar opposite. You can see this here. According to a recent report from Joe Cowley, the team is expected to, quote, aggressively shop Lonzo Ball, unquote. So the Bulls spent years on the off-court dealing with his injury. We know he's been injured for a very long time, but now the Bulls are looking to actively trade Lonzo Ball, which is why the fact that the Lakers are betting favorites makes this extremely interesting for, of course, the Lakers, and if you're a Lakers fan. Now, Lonzo Ball is he's not having a very good season. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years. He hasn't played in 3 years, really. Now that he's fully healthy, it's an interesting fit. He's only averaging like 5 points a game. He played against the Raptors yesterday. He put up 5 points or something like that, and 7 assists at least. But when you're looking at what the Lakers need, and we'll dive into that in a minute here, Lonzo does fit a lot of the things that JJ Redick said they need, specifically regarding a point of attack defender. That being said, another article and report dropped linking the Lakers as a very good fit for Lonzo Ball. You can see this here. How about a little reunion? After playing high school basketball at a local school, of course, Ball opted to go to UCLA and then was the number 2 overall pick by the Lakers. We all know that. The Lakers are in clear need of a change within their roster, and a 3-and-D player like Ball can be a perfect fit for the club, even if he wasn't isn't the same player as he was a couple of years ago. He can still be a playmaker, a shooter, and a great perimeter defender to play off of LeBron and AD. And of course, we know he played a season with LeBron James. So is it risky? Sure, but they don't have the luxury of playing the safe game. They aren't good enough and need a roster shakeup. And that's where things get extremely interesting. I mean, you look at the Lakers depth chart here and where Lonzo Ball would fit. He's obviously a point guard, and we've been discussing on this channel and in general how they've been changing the lineup a lot. And whether that's with LeBron out for the couple games, whether that's LeBron being back in and they're running a big lineup with Dalton Connect and LeBron James playing kind of the point forward spot, or Austin Reaves has also been running the point guard spot, even though he's not a natural point guard at all. I've seen Max Christie, and Gabe Vincent as well has been in a ton of trade rumors. And of course, you still have D'Lo, but he's kind of just been, relegated to the bench. JJ Redick came out, and if you saw the video yesterday, if you haven't, go check it out, basically saying that the Lakers are looking for someone who can play defense, specifically be a point of attack defender, meaning guard the other team's best ball handler, basically, and be, guard the other team's best scorer, which Lonzo Ball can do, especially when it comes to, the 1 to the 3. He can guard the point guard, shooting guard, and debatably the small forward, obviously, depending on the height and size. But as you're looking at what the Lakers need specifically now, again, JJ Redick, he wants someone who can shoot threes. Lonzo Ball, when healthy, can shoot threes fairly well, especially before his injury. He was starting to figure out his rhythm in the league in general. But he can also, of course, play great defense. And when he was healthy, Lonzo Ball was one of the best, if not the best, I'd say one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. His defense has been kind of his calling card all his career, and that's why he's been so valuable, and that's why he ultimately got signed to the 4-year deal that he got worth over $80 million, is because of his defense and his passing abilities. But it would kind of provide a calming presence for this team. And again, the team at this point, I think, needs something like that. And I don't know if Lonzo Ball is necessarily the solution, but he definitely lines up with what JJ Redick said the Lakers need, which is a point of attack defender, a guy who can play defense and shoot the 3-ball. The 3-ball is still a thing that would have to come back. He's been a bit shaky since his return, specifically scoring the ball, but when healthy, him and LeBron could be a very nasty duo. And not only that, if you make a trade for Lonzo Ball, which we'll get into in a minute, if LeBron leaves, or AD, even if, assuming AD stays, but let's say LeBron leaves in a year or two, you could build around Lonzo Ball and Anthony Davis if Lonzo Ball, continues to develop and plays the way that he was and showing flashes with the Bulls before he ultimately got his injury. And you'd be buying low on a guy like Lonzo Ball right now. Like I mentioned, he's only averaging 5 or so points a game. And there's been some trades going around, and I want to get your thoughts on this one in the comment section. And let us know down below, would you do this deal if you're the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, I'm not saying that the Bulls do this deal because it's a pretty light package, especially because the Bulls are looking to aggressively shop him. But because they're aggressively shopping him, you can probably get him for a steal. And I think that's the only way the Lakers go ahead and pull the trigger. But it's D'Lo, Christian Wood, and a second-round pick. So 2 expiring contracts in a second for Lonzo Ball, who is also an expiring. So it's an interesting trade. I would like to think the Bulls would want a little bit more, but that being said, if you're the Bulls here, you're getting D'Lo and Christian Wood. Christian Wood doesn't have a ton of value, but D'Angelo Russell, you could probably flip him to another team that's in need of a backup point guard, or maybe a starting point guard, depending on the team. But again, D'Lo has his deficiencies. He's not great defensively at all. Honestly, not a great facilitator either, and he's been very shaky this season, especially under JJ Redick. We saw earlier in the year when JJ Redick called out D'Angelo Russell, has benched him, all these different things, but despite that, he's still a fairly effective, at least, scorer off of the bench for the Lakers at times, despite being called out by JJ Redick early in the year. Well, if you're the Lakers, you're basically giving up a second-round pick and a couple of expiring contracts, albeit D'Lo is a solid player for Lonzo Ball. Now, some Lakers fans might be saying, D'Lo provides more than Lonzo Ball stat-wise, and maybe just looking at the stats, sure, Lonzo Ball is a much better defender, a much better facilitator, and is also, he's not having a very good season, but he has a much higher ceiling at this point than D'Angelo Russell does. We know exactly what D'Lo does. He's not young anymore. He's late 20s. We know exactly what he does. He's a scorer. Lonzo Ball at this point would help kind of even out the team and would just help play much better defense, which is something that they've struggled with, specifically perimeter defense, which is why JJ Redick wanted and specifically called for a point of attack defender, because Lonzo Ball would fit that narrative perfectly. And then you're also giving up a second-round pick, which could be valuable. It is in 2025, so you like to think LeBron would still be, they're going to have AD and probably LeBron in 2025, so depending what happens with LeBron, but either way, it won't be a crazy pick. At the end of the day, it's a second-round pick anyways, whether or not LeBron is with the Lakers next season or not. So I like the value here, and I think it makes a ton of sense. You're getting a guy, you're playing for the upside, and Lonzo's obviously making $21 million. The salary works with this deal. I think it makes sense. And if you're the Bulls, you're getting a second-round pick, and you're hopefully able to flip D'Lo and Christian Wood either for more seconds or maybe some sort of asset that they can use, a young player or something like that. Because I'm not sure the Bulls are going to get a first-round pick at this point for Lonzo Ball. They're definitely not going to. It's an expiring contract. But being able to get a second and a couple of pieces that they could flip for maybe another second, if you get 2 or 3 seconds for Lonzo and maybe a young player, a young piece, it could be an interesting thing here. And we've also been seeing a bunch of other trades, circling around, surrounding, like I mentioned. D'Lo was in a lot of these. We see Cam Johnson, Valanciunas, all these different guys, Javon Carter, Torrey Craig. So they're looking at a bunch of different players. Fans are making up a bunch of trades, but I think ultimately this trade here makes a lot of sense for the Los Angeles Lakers if they're trying to shake things up and get what JJ Redick said they wanted. Point of attack defender, guy can shoot threes and play defense. And of course, there should be a little bit of chemistry there between LeBron and Lonzo, although that was years ago, so they would still have to figure that out. But I even think Lonzo Ball and Anthony Davis, pick and roll could be good, assuming Lonzo Ball gets his confidence back and gets his offense going, because he's been very lackluster this season from that perspective, but he's still a very solid defender and could fit this team very well. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this, and would you do that deal surrounding D'Lo, Christian Wood, and a second? And make sure to hit the subscribe button. See you guys later.